Hello, my rubber hearts. Today we're focusing on something extremely practical, mixing in winter conditions. This episode is about what changes in your process when your polymers, oils, fillers, and even your mixer start the day cool and what you should deliberately adjust in response. Let's start with the fundamental physics. Rubber viscosity is strongly temperature dependent. As temperature decreases, molecular mobility decreases. When molecular mobility decreases, viscosity increases. This relationship is exponential in the rubbery region, not linear. That means even a shift from 40 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius can significantly increase initial compound viscosity. Now, here is an important clarification about glass transition temperature because it's often misunderstood. At 4 degrees Celsius, most common elastomers are still well above their TG. Natural rubber has a TG around minus 60 degrees Celsius. Typical SBR grades range from roughly minus 50 degrees Celsius to minus 20, depending on styrene content. So at 4 degrees Celsius, both are still in the rubbery region. However, being above TG does not mean behavior is identical. The closer you operate to TG, the higher the viscosity becomes. At 40 degrees Celsius, polymer chains are much more mobile. At 4 degrees Celsius, they are significantly less mobile, even though they are not glassy. That reduced mobility directly increases initial viscosity. And viscosity is what the mixer feels. When you feed polymer stored at 4 degrees Celsius directly into the mixer, you are feeding material with substantially higher initial viscosity compared to summer conditions. Higher viscosity means higher starting torque, slower mastication, more resistance to deformation, and slower filler wetting. So the issue in winter is not chemistry changing, it is rheology changing. As temperature drops, chain mobility decreases gradually long before you approach TG. Viscosity increases and the rubber becomes stiffer. Mastication becomes harder, the mixer sees higher starting torque. The polymer resists breakdown longer, so even though the formulation is unchanged, the rheology at the start of the cycle is very different. And that difference propagates through the entire mixing cycle. If you feed cold polymer and immediately run the mixer at full rotor speed, you often see a sharp torque spike. The rubber may slip on the rotors instead of shearing properly. You generate localized heating rather than uniform mastication. That early inefficiency can compromise filler wetting and dispersion later in the cycle. This is why one very common and technically sound winter practice is starting at a reduced rotor speed during the initial mastication phase. Lower initial speed allows the polymer to plasticize gradually. It gives the material time to form a cohesive band. Once torque begins to stabilize and the rubber flows more uniformly, rotor speed can be increased to deliver the necessary energy input. This staged approach controls the torque curve rather than shocking it. It is not about being gentle, it is about being controlled. Another winter adjustment involves ingredient timing. If filler is added too early into a cold, poorly masticated polymer, dry pockets can form. Carbon black or silica can become trapped in stiff rubber masses, making dispersion harder and extending total mixing time. A short, deliberate mastication phase before heavy filler loading can improve consistency. Now let's talk about oils. Plasticizer oils behave very differently at 4 degrees Celsius than at 40. Their viscosity increases significantly when cold. That affects pumping accuracy, dosing consistency, and wetting behavior inside the mixer. Cold oil can also locally cool the batch surface at the moment of addition, slowing incorporation. Industry best practice is to maintain oils at a stable, moderate temperature in storage and delivery lines. If heated tanks or drum heaters are available, they should be used. If not, even storing oils indoors instead of outdoors can reduce variability. The goal is not to overheat oil. It is to eliminate large seasonal temperature swings. Fillers introduce another winter complication. Carbon black stored cold flows differently and can behave more sluggishly during feeding. Silica is even more sensitive because moisture becomes a factor. When cold filler is moved into warmer, humid production air, condensation can form. Even small amounts of surface moisture alter silica behavior during mixing, affect silane reactions, and change viscosity development. The simplest winter control measure is staging. Keep fillers sealed as long as possible. Avoid large temperature swings between storage and production. If climate control is limited, at least allow materials to equilibrate in the production environment before dosing. There is also a very practical but often overlooked factor: the mixer itself. A cold mixer chamber absorbs more energy from the first batches of the day. That shifts the temperature profile and mixing efficiency. Many plants run a warm up batch at the start of a shift to bring the chamber, rotors, and housing to a stable thermal state before producing critical compounds. This reduces variability between the first and later batches. So, in winter conditions, you are really managing three thermal systems at once: the raw materials, the mixer, and the mixing cycle profile. Now, let's address what happens if you cannot climatize materials due to limited resources. You can still control the process. You can stage one shift's worth of polymer near the mixing area instead of pulling directly from outdoor storage. You can adjust initial rotor speed to control torque peaks. You can extend the mastication phase slightly while monitoring temperature rather than extending total cycle time blindly. You can monitor oil viscosity visually and ensure dosing lines are not cold soaked. You can reduce humidity exposure of silica by keeping bags sealed until use. Even small operational discipline changes can reduce seasonal scatter significantly. One more subtle winter effect is a temptation to compensate with frictional heating. Operators sometimes increase speed or time aggressively to make it come together. That may fix dispersion in the short term, but it can overshoot target temperatures later in the cycle and increase variability in cure behavior or scorch safety. The key principle is this: winter changes rheology, not chemistry. Your compound did not change, your starting conditions did. If you stabilize the starting temperature and control early torque profile, most winter variability disappear. So the winter strategy is clear: standardize the starting temperature of materials as much as possible, control initial rotor speed to avoid torque shock, allow proper mastication before heavy filler loading, keep oils and fillers thermally stable and dry, warm up the mixer to a consistent baseline. When you treat winter as a process control issue rather than a formulation problem, the same compound behaving differently becomes predictable and manageable. Until next time, stay elastic and stay curious.